of people ask me, especially when they attend my classes or my seminars. And I always tell them that the best definition of self-confidence is the value that you put on yourself. Or to clarify it, it's the value that you decide upon yourself. So when I say value, it's the way you feel. And that's why confidence is a little bit hard to measure at times, because confidence is simply a feeling. It's the way you value yourself. So if you're a person who, appreciates life, who's excited to wake up, who's happy all the time, it means you have a lot of self-confidence. And if you're a person who's on the opposite side, that you feel down, you feel depressed, you feel that your problems or challenges in life overcome you, it means you have low levels of self-confidence. Especially that appears when you get criticized or when you experience failure. That's where your confidence is tested. Now, another word that you have to focus on with what I said is yourself. Who decides your value? Who decides whether you're confident or not? Of course, logic tells you that it should be yourself. I'm sorry to say this, but it's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's not your husband, it's not your wife, it's not your lover. It is simply you. If you analyze the word confidence, it begins with the word self-confidence. It means it comes from you. And after you've decided your confidence, the better question to ask is, are you ready to pay the price? Or are you ready to work to get to that level of confidence that you decided? Because confidence is not something that, okay, I'm confident today. You can decide that. But when you decide that, the next process is simply, can you work for it? I can give you 3 tips to build confidence. A lot of my students always ask this. I think we have a lot of methods to build confidence, but I think the best 3 methods to build confidence is, the first one is to like yourself more, to genuinely like yourself. So the more that you like yourself, the more that you become confident. The more that you understand what you have rather than what you don't have, the more that you're confident. Because as I said, confidence is simply the way you feel. So the more that you focus on the things that you like about yourself, the more that you become confident. Number 2 is, if you want to be more confident, I think gratitude is a big part of it. The more thankful you are, the more that you see your opportunities, the more that you see what you have. And I think that adds a lot of value to yourself, and that brings you confidence. And number 3, of course, is simply having a vision of how confident you want to become. Most people say, I want to have confidence, I want to have confidence, but the image of their confidence is not very clear. So at the end of the day, you have to decide yourself. I think if you don't have a vision of who you are, that's where you get role models. That's where you get, I want to be like this person, I want to be like him. And that's the basis or foundation of your confidence. And then, of course, eventually it has to evolve and it has to become better. But if you don't have a clear vision, you don't have confidence at all. So those are... I always believe that there are 2 types of personalities in terms of your work life. The first one is the entrepreneurial spirit, or the person that has a spirit of no fear. Let me take risks. I don't care if I fail. I'm willing to put my name out there, and if I fail, I'm willing to try again. I'm willing to be persistent. So that's the first personality of working. The second personality is, I call it team spirit or an employee spirit. There are people that have a spirit of, I want to follow a vision. I want to work with great people. I want to be around great people. I want to follow what this person is saying, and let's go ahead and I'll help you do it, And I think being an entrepreneur takes those kinds of things that I mentioned at the beginning. But I also believe that not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur, because some people aim for extremely high goals, very difficult goals. They're willing to sacrifice their social lives, they're willing to sacrifice their health, they're willing to sacrifice some of their spirituality just to get to what they want. But some people, they want to have a well-balanced life. They want to have good money, but at the same time they don't want to have so much, because they want to have time for their family, they want to have time for their friends, they want to have time for their health, And I think at the end of the day, that's what it will take to become an entrepreneur. You have to decide what you want. So if you're willing to risk a lot on the line and you're willing to pay the price and have that entrepreneurial spirit that I'm saying, yeah, go ahead and become an entrepreneur. But also, don't get me wrong, because there's this myth going around that, you'll never get rich with your job, quit your job. To be honest with you, I think that's a myth. I've met so many people in our economy, in the Philippines, outside the Philippines, and some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are employees. And don't get me wrong, I've met a lot of employees whose salaries are 1 million a month, 2 million a month, 5 million a month. That's not actually very bad, entrepreneurs like me, we work very, very hard to get to 1 million, 2 million, 5 million a month, or even a whole year. And I think it really depends on your personality. Alright, that's actually my favorite question, because I think 90% of people who train in speech coach seminars and classes have nervousness. And when I was very young, I was taught that nervousness was just energy, and it has to come out positively. So, my former teachers, my former trainers in speaking would always tell me that it's just energy, you tell that to yourself. And it works actually, but it came to a point that the challenges of my speaking life got harder, because I already spoke to not just 40, 50, 20 people in training. Now I speak to 100 people, 200, 300, thousands of people, and the challenges get bigger. And also the way I handle nervousness is different. So now I think the best two things I do to handle nervousness is, number one, keep everything simple. So normally nervousness or pressure in speaking comes from trying to impress somebody, trying to say that you're setting an unrealistic standard of your approach to your speaking engagement or your reporting or whatever the activity is. So you set a high standard, like I want to impress everybody, I want to be the best. So when you put that kind of pressure in you and you're not well trained to do it, you're really going to be nervous. So what I do is I simply tell myself I have to keep everything simple. I think the best speeches that I've ever made, or the best presentations I've ever made, are the simple ones. And if you have that mindset when you do your trainings or when you do your speaking engagements, I think your nervousness will mellow down, right? Okay, I keep it simple. Remember, the greatest speeches or presentations in the world are the simplest ones. Some of them are the shortest ones, not the complicated ones, not the ones with so many technical rocket science terms. It's just the simple ones. That's the first thing that you have to do. Secondly, to control your nervousness is simply be sincere. If you have a sincere intention of speaking in front of people, you have a genuine love to help them, to send them a very sincere and simple message, I think your nervousness can go away. What I tell myself every time I'm speaking to a big crowd, I always tell myself, I'm here to help, I'm here to help, I'm here to help. It's that simple. And then my nervousness goes away. Because my mind tells me now that, hey, you're here to help. So should you be afraid when you want to help somebody?